work came in. And right now, where work is concerned, that isn't an option for everybody. Yes, they've opened things up, and there are people who are eligible right now to work, women who are eligible even with H4 visas to work in America, but that doesn't cover everybody. So I found the aftermath of that, whether it is this big vacuum in their lives, whether it's depression, or whether it's just this emptiness, of not, or a lack of self-worth about what am I doing apart from cooking, cleaning, and looking after the house. I think women here face that a lot. And it's something that I am dreading. At the same time, I'm glad that I'm not alone and I don't have to deal with this alone. Apart from that, I've also realized that being children in America of Indian families, of Indian descent, is a whole different ballgame altogether. You come here with very strong values, Indian values, which are instilled in us from when we're children. And then you come here and you are set amidst a completely Western outlook and frame. And that does create a lot of confusion. Maybe when we're really young, it doesn't matter. But as we grow older, there is an identity crisis where that is concerned. And most of it, this is not a criticism because I am not a parent. So this is an observation. I've also found that most of it is because as Indian families, we hold on to our roots, our customs and our traditions very, very tightly. And we expect children. I've got a sister who's right now 13 years old. My aunt has lived in New York for the last 35 years. And she has, of course, been brought up in the typical Bengali way. But now she's hit 13 and she wants to be as American as she is Bengali. And for me, as a third person, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because the more we try and tell them that you are Indian here in a global setup, I think the more as children they want to run. They want to run in the opposite direction. So it is a very thin line that we are towing constantly as parents, as families, where children are concerned, where their identities are concerned. It's a scary thought that I'll probably have a child here and have to toe the same line and be in all your shoes, whoever. I'm sure there are a lot of parents here and you all face the same issues. So that's something that we have to talk about, we think about, and you have to deal with it. You can't just say that you have to do this and this is the way I have been brought up and this is how we have always, this is the family rules. Because now you're in a different setup. You're in America. They go to American schools. They meet American children. They're studying with them. So everything, your equation changes a little bit. It's become a little more colored than just black and white. It's something to think about. I was just having a conversation with my aunt about my sister. And there is really no straightforward solution. At home, we teach them stuff that is very Indian because we don't want them to lose what being Indian is all about. At the same time, the outside world actually puts you on a platform where you have to engage on a global level. You can't really think only Indian anymore. Oh my God. That's all I have to say. And we will field questions later. I hope they're not very difficult questions. And don't question me about parenting. I'm not yet a parent. Mine were just observations. And he can continue.
They want to showcase.
Nice.
So I appreciate it. Question and answers ఏమన్నా ఉంటే ఒక్కసారి మీరు ఒక 5 minutes క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్స్ అండి. ప్లీజ్ ఫీల్ ఫ్రీ క్విక్ క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్స్. ఇంకొకటి ఏంటంటే కమలిని ముఖర్జీ గారు విమెన్ ఎంపవర్మెంట్ మీద ఇంత చక్కగా మనతో మాట్లాడారు కాబట్టి నాట్స్ తరఫు నుంచి ఆవిడని బ్రాండ్ అంబాసిడర్గా ఎన్నుకున్నారండి. మరొక్కసారి చప్పట్లు. కమలిని ముఖర్జీ. She will be the brand ambassador for NATS Women Empowerment. Once again, we women rock. చెప్పండి అందరూ.
I'm the most surprised and happiest right now.
Hip hip hooray to brand new ambassador.
Yes.
NATS.
She has a question.
Yeah.
I think men should listen to this, the whole speech, rather than women. I think it would help them.
That's what I said.
But I don't understand why all the women are listening because
No, there are men.
no.
You know, I want to tell you something. You'll be really surprised to know. About 4 months back, we started an initiative in India, an online one, which was against violence against women, basically. And the shocking part of it is that nearly 60% of the people who came on board were men. So it's, I found that there is a huge change in the mental makeup of men because most of them are pretty angry about the way women are being treated. They are standing up for women, they're fighting for it. So we're not really that alone.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
When you started the speech, you said, even though this program is related to the women, I'm happy to see so many men.
Yeah.
Everybody left.
Any more questions? So only 2 more questions only because we are running short of time.
We have to start the next program.
Show your talent start avbotundi.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I'm not sure if this is answerable,
Yeah.
but my friend and I were planning a trip to India. She's not Indian.
Yeah.
When I told her about, that was the same time the big global news about violence against women in India started with gang rapes and rapes in general. And she had told me that her mother felt it was unsafe. She didn't want to go because she was afraid for herself. And I didn't know how to explain the big discrepancy. India is such a great country. We've had female prime ministers, we have female leaders, politicians, we have female goddesses that we worship on a daily basis. And I didn't know how to explain how a country that on a national scale respects women, on such a detailed local scale, there's so much violence against that. I don't know if it's perpetuated in their households. Is this an attitude that most males have? Or is it just something that, is it nature versus nurture? I don't understand if it's the environment that makes, that allows for rapes to happen, or is it just the mentality of men? And I don't know what's happening to change that.
You're talking about a friend of yours. We invited a 58-year-old lady for our wedding to India, and her first question was, "Will I get raped?" You know, it is. We laugh about it, but it's not funny. That is the common belief that India is not safe for women. And to a certain degree, yes, right now we are going through that phase where we're trying to better ourselves, but it is a lot about the mental makeup. What you're saying is bang on. Because, and you can't only say it's not due to what only happens at home. There is large-scale unemployment. There are issues of violence amidst the unemployed. And all these things manifest in violence in some way. And women being perceived as not only the weaker gender, but the easier victims, we fall into that zone, you know, where there is violence perpetuated towards us. But as a nation, it's amazing that India has been one of the very few countries which has stood up as a nation when the Delhi incident happened, where the student was gang raped in 2012 December. No other country in the world has seen such an uprising from the common people. The entire city of Delhi, people came from all around Delhi, were out on the streets protesting, standing in candlelight vigils, and they took it upon themselves to say that we are not going to stand for this. Yes, it has not changed much. Delhi has still got its quota of violence. But what's interesting is that the common man, society as a whole, is saying that no, we are not going to take it. So that for me is a big plus. It's a big beginning. Because a few years back, rape is something that most people didn't want to report. They wanted to just kind of shove it under the carpet and say that किसी को बताना मत, लोग क्या सोचेंगे. These were the terms that was always applied to victims of violence. That is no longer the issue. Now women themselves, even from the most remote parts of India, are standing up for themselves and saying, yes, I've been raped. Deal with it. I'm not going to say that this is not happening. So I'm hoping that the worldview is changing, and when you do talk to your friends, tell them that India as a whole is standing up for it, and that's a big deal.
Last question, please. We are running short of time, sorry.
You said that the worldview is changing about rape. So what do you think globally we're doing to just take the next step and end domestic violence and rape culture across the globe?
When we were working on this initiative, which is about violence against women, we realized that it's not only something that people are doing on a global scale. We're not talking about the United Nations only. We're not talking about huge projects. We're talking about smaller towns, 100 people, maybe 40, men, women together, standing up and saying that, let's do something about it. That consciousness is the first step. And that's what we're taking right now. It's in baby steps, so we're taking that. It's impressive that men, like I was just telling her, it's impressive that men are standing up for women. It's a total... I asked a writer friend of mine that, would you want to join this initiative where we are encouraging women to stand up for women? And she told me that the greatest weapon that women have in this century are men. So maybe there's a grain of truth in it. Men standing up for women, that would be immense. Like he said, that it begins with us, like the male sex, realizing that this is not good. We are the ones suffering the most. There's a deficit in our entire family system, in society, in the country, which is being perpetuated by this discrimination, this violence. So all over the world, you'll see people are trying to tackle this. It's not something that people are not looking at anymore. You can't ignore it. It's all over the place. If you're on the internet, you open the TV, you read about it in the newspapers, everywhere people are making a difference. That's why I was saying, just make a personal difference, a small effort, and it really amounts to a lot. So let's hope we can all get together and do away with it, especially violence against women. There's no place for it.
Thanks for the wonderful women empowerment. We really enjoyed having you. ఇప్పుడేమో సన్మాన కార్యక్రమాలు చేసుకుందామండి. మన ముఖ్య అతిథులు వచ్చారు, రాజమౌళి గారు, కమలిని ముఖర్జీ గారు, మా విమెన్స్ ఫోరం మా డైరెక్టర్ గారు శ్రీనివాస్ శీలం గారు, వారిద్దరికి సన్మాన సత్కార్యాలు చేస్తారు. శాలువతో సత్కరిస్తున్నారు శ్రీనివాస శీలం గారు. ఒకసారి చప్పట్లండి. శ్రీ రాజమౌళి గారికి ఇప్పుడు శాలువతో సత్కరిస్తున్నారు. చిన్న రిక్వెస్ట్ అండి మీ ఇద్దరికి. ఇప్పుడు షో యువర్ టాలెంట్ అని పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అనమాట. ప్లీజ్ వీ వుడ్ లైక్ టు హ్యావ్ యూ. అంజనా సౌమ్య గారు వచ్చారు, శిల్పి జడ్జి. ఒకసారి శ్రీ
I don't want to take much time. I just want to say thank you to our Women's Forum team. They are just give a big hand to them.
అంజనా సౌమ్య గారు ఒకసారి అంజనా సౌమ్య గారు. ఆవిడ మా జడ్జ్ అండి. షో యువర్ టాలెంట్కి ప్రతిభ గల మహిళలు ముందుకు రావాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాం. రిజిస్టర్డ్ పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నారు ఇక్కడ. వాకిన్స్ కూడా వచ్చారు కొంతమంది. రాజమౌళి గారు మీరు ప్లీజ్ కూర్చోవచ్చండి స్టేజ్ మీద. ప్లీజ్ ఎంజాయ్ ద షో.
All show your talent participants, can you please meet me in the room next to this room?
Okay, please. One more chance.